Alright, in this video we are going to do the requests module with the post method, and for this project I have chosen to use Slack as what we are going to integrate with to push data. With Slack it is free, so you can set up your own workspace, sign up, and start an application all for free, so it's pretty great. It allows us to use a post API as well. So to get started, I've already gone ahead and created my app, which I called test. But if you're just getting started, you can go in here, create your new app, and call it whatever you want. You have to set permissions and everything else. I'm not going to cover that in this video. If you'd like me to cover that, leave a comment below. For now, we'll just go in with the app I already have named test. And now in here, we're going to go into incoming webhooks, and I'll go ahead and turn this feature on. Now within this, it gives us a little bit of information about what we're going to be posting for, and that information is listed right here. We can see we have a post with a content type of application slash JSON, and for our data, it's going to be what looks like a dictionary with a key of text and the value. This one says hello world, and then of course our webhook URL. Now to get the webhook URL, we'll have to add a new webhook to our workspace, so we can start doing that now. And here you'll choose which channel to post it to once you've published your app for your workspace. Before I do this, because it's going to give me a URL I'll need to copy out, I'm going to go ahead and start a new project in PyCharm. So actually, I'm not going to start a new project. For this, we'll start back with the other project we created in the last episode, and that will be our API project. We'll go ahead and create a new Python file, and this time we'll call it post_test. As before, we'll import requests. And then we have a few other things to do. One of the things I'm going to do in this, since we have a URL that's encoded with our own special verification code, I'm going to save that into a CSV file and pull from that. That way my information is not exposed for everybody else, and I would suggest you do the same. Don't publish that information as it's dedicated to you, or else someone else could authenticate like they were you. So to do that, in the same area, I'll create a new file, and this time I'll call this file webhook_URLs, and I'll do .csv so it knows it's a CSV right away. Otherwise, you could choose that in the next screen. But for this, I'm going to put webhook URL, and then in this next line, I will actually paste the webhook URL I'm about to get. Alright, back over in PyCharm, I've already saved that URL I was grabbing from the Slack API for the webhooks, and I saved that into our webhook URL CSV. Since we will be working with CSVs, we'll end up installing another module called pandas. It's a very nifty tool for working with CSVs, and it makes it very easy. So we'll go ahead and install that in the terminal. And now that it's done, we'll import a couple things. The first one I'll import is the JSON library. The next one I'll import is the pandas library as PD. So the first thing we want to do is extract our URL from the webhooks.csv file. And to do this, it's going to require a few steps, but we'll learn pandas in the same time. And what we'll do is we'll create a new variable called webhooks file. And this will be the entire file where all of our webhook information is stored in that CSV file. So we'll do pd.readCSV, and now we'll pass in our CSV's name. The second thing we want to do is tell it which column we want to look at so we can extract that information. And it's just as simple, where we'll now call this one webhooks, since it'll have all of our webhook URLs in there if we were to have multiple. And we'll set that equal to the webhooks file. And then we'll call the column header as the key. And that column header was webhook URL. And last but not least, we will now set our URL variable equal to the URL in the webhooks file that we're looking for. And since there's only one in there, it'll simply be 0. Now that we have our URL, we're going to want to define our content type and then the data that we want to push up. So remember, the content type was application/JSON. And to do this, we'll make a new variable called content type. I'll set that equal to a dictionary with the content type as the key to the value of application/JSON. Now we'll set up our data, and the data is what we're going to be passing up. And remember, the key in there was text, and the value is whatever we want to send up. So I'm going to say, hey, Slack, this is my first message. Finally, let's build out our request call and set that equal to the response. So we'll do request.post this time, pass up our URL. Then we're going to do our data. But with data, the reason why we imported JSON is it's not in JSON formatting. This is simply a dictionary in Python. What JSON allows us to do is pass it as JSON data. So do json.dumps, and we'll pass in our data. And that'll convert it to JSON format. And the final thing we want to do is set our headers equal to our content type. Just to show that everything's okay, we'll print out the response. Let's save that. Go over, right click, and run post test. Hey, Slack, this is my first message. And we can see that it has now made it into our channel. Once again, we can post another message here just by simply changing the data. And hit play. And boom. Hey, buddy. It has posted just as we expected. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in below, or if you have any suggestions for a future video. If you like this, please go ahead and put a like on the video and subscribe for future videos that I'll be putting out. Thanks, and I'll see you again soon.